Hey everybody, welcome to The Commit. Today I'm joined by our CTO Matt, and we want to answer the most important question that we hear every time we go to a hackathon or talk to someone about jobs, which is what's the difference between a junior engineer and a senior engineer? How do we answer that question, Matt?
You know, I think you're right. I think it's a very important question, and we can't just base it off number of years of experience. When I'm hiring, I see some people that have 10 years of experience and they're in like a mid-level position, and I've seen people with 2 years of experience and they're titled as senior engineers, right? So, I think the number of years isn't important. You can have 20 years of experience, but you really just repeated that 1 year of experience 20 times. So I don't think that counts necessarily. I think the biggest difference to me is a senior is someone who puts the team first. They're sort of selfless. They're always trying to figure out what they can do to help the team. I think juniors, in a way, almost have to sort of be selfish, right? They really need to absorb as much from the team as they can, learn as much as they can, so they can start contributing ASAP and get the ball rolling.
Right, I think that's a good point that you bring up, that you're being selfish, but again, you are contributing to the product. Let's talk a little bit kind of about like day-to-day duties and objectives. So I imagine for a junior engineer, one of the most important things to do is get really familiar with the product that you're working on and really understand how that core tech works. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think one of the important things is really understand how that company is using the core product, right? Like everyone uses Rails differently, everyone uses Django differently, so we have a few different Ruby on Rails apps. We use OAuth to sign you into all of those. We use message queues to communicate between all the applications, so you can't really know where to work on things unless you know sort of where they are in the code base. So it's important to understand the different applications, what they do, and where to go when you have something to work on.
Maybe the last thing is, I guess sort of we talked a little bit about building products, but how about understanding how products get built?
Yeah, I think it's very important to sort of figure out how to break things down into easy tasks. Sometimes you come out of school thinking everything's gonna be really easy, right? But it's important to figure out, sort of get into the habit of estimating, trying to figure out what's gonna be complex, and sort of figure out how you can break things down, provide value to users as soon as you can, MVP, all that sort of stuff.
Cool. Right, because you got to know how to build it.
Absolutely.
All right, so how do things change a little bit once you've reached sort of that senior engineering level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit before, but a lot of it comes down to sort of ownership, right? Like providing on-call support for applications, sort of trying to solve issues before they happen, but also being there for the team when they do happen, figuring out a solution to prevent them moving forwards. I think that's one of the key steps, is that when you're more senior, you're able to sort of step back more because you're not as busy learning. So you can step back more, be a bit more retrospective, ask yourselves, what works, what doesn't work, why should this have worked, why shouldn't this have worked, things like that you sort of don't think about as much when you're just trying to learn as much as you can.
Right, and something we were talking about a little bit before, that you can be the greatest programmer out there, right? But if you don't know why you were building a feature and you don't have that sort of analytical mindset, kind of like you were saying with the retrospective, then why did you build it?
Yeah.
Right, and so being able to sort of see that up front.
Absolutely, the best code is a code that's never written, so.
That's very zen of you.
I can't take any credit for it. That was on the internet one time.
That sounds kind of like a leadership quality. Mm-hmm. So do senior engineers have to sort of treat themselves as sort of leaders? They might not have managerial responsibility, but are they still in a leadership position?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to the company that you're in. Certainly here, we're a small team of developers, tech team 6-7 people. So I think it's very important in those instances for a senior person to have some leadership, only because, you can't really only have just one leader at the top because they're going to be busy in meetings, recruiting, things like that. I think you need a few other leaders to sort of spread the leadership love, if you will. They get to be, because I can't think of every question to ask in terms of what we should build, whether or not this is the right feature, things like that. So having other people that sort of look out for, that pragmatism, those types of qualities, I think they're very important in a small startup. You're going to have a CTO, whatever, they're going to be busy in meetings, recruiting, things like that. So it's important to always have a little bit of leadership sort of sprinkled throughout the room, I think. And I think, one of the most important aspects of leadership that carries over to a senior dev especially is the whole pragmatism, efficiency sort of thing.
Cool. You're not just hoping that they'll run stand-up when you choose to work from home that day.
Oh, we'll see how that goes.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. Folks, next week, we're actually going to be back with Matt again, and we'll be talking about the milestones, first day, first week, first month, first quarter of your next job. All right, thanks so much.